Welcome to the chilling tale of the Cardiff ghost, Mower Services. Tonight, we delve into the shadowy depths of a forgotten alleyway, where an unassuming auto repair shop hides secrets far darker than squeaky brakes and leaking oil. Mower Services, a small, weathered building etched with the wear of time, stands shrouded in mystery. Locals whisper of strange sounds in the dead of night, eerie whispers, disembodied laughter, and the unmistakable clang of tools, even when the shop is empty. But the real terror begins when the lights flicker, and the presence of a restless poltergeist reveals itself, forever haunting the desolate streets of Cardiff. Prepare yourself for a spine-chilling journey as we uncover the legend of the Cardiff ghost and the spectral horrors of Mower Services. Are you ready to step into the darkness? As night falls, the alley leading to Mower Services is engulfed in darkness. Dim streetlights cast faint beams across the damp pavement, barely illuminating the surroundings. The silence is deafening, broken only by the occasional whistle of the wind as it snakes through the narrow passageways. On the old, weathered sign of Mower Services, the flickering glow of a lone bulb creates dancing shadows, adding an unsettling life to the gloom. The setting seems to narrate an untold story, a story of inexplicable phenomena that haunt this very place. During the 1980s, Mower Services was run by John Matthews, along with his wife Pat and his brother Fred. Mower Services had enjoyed good trade since opening. It had built up a loyal customer base drawn from across Cardiff, and the family were earning a decent wage from the business. Times were good at Mower Services. However, one day the peace at Mower Services was permanently shattered. John and Fred were doing some repairs on a car in the workshop area of their premises when suddenly they heard a tremendous clattering coming from the roof. Assuming the children were outside throwing stones, Fred went to investigate, only to find the surrounding area to be deserted. As soon as he returned to the workshop, the noise started again, causing John to remonstrate with his brother for not stopping the child vandals. Perplexed, Fred explained that the forecourt was empty and that there was no possible way the noise was being made by someone outside. This was the beginning of an intensive period of poltergeist activity that would go on to be witnessed by police officers, insurance officials, academics, a priest, and a large number of Mower Services customers. In the words of John Matthews, the spirit decided to move in. As well as the usual poltergeist phenomena, such as unexplainable changes in temperature and mysterious, overpowering smells, the spirit showed a fondness for childish tricks. For example, keys would go missing for hours and hours, only to be thrown from nowhere at their owner. Money would also go missing, then turn up stuck to the ceiling or wedged in a crack in the wall. Despite all the paranormal activity, Fred and John insisted during interviews that they never felt threatened by the spirit's presence. They even gave it a friendly nickname, Pete the Poltergeist. What did concern the owners of Mower Services was the fact that customers began witnessing the ghostly activity. They became worried that the poltergeist may well scare away their trade, so decided to treat it a lot more seriously than they had originally. One day, John and Fred decided to conduct a test along with their staff to evaluate the degree to which Pete would respond to what they were doing. Everyone present at the time was asked either to leave the premises or join in the test. All doors and exits were then locked, and the remaining individuals sat around a large circular table, holding hands. The group then requested the spirit to make its presence known, and sure enough, a stone suddenly landed on the table. This prompted one of those present to suggest that the group should record the responses by writing them down. Seconds later, a pen was thrown from nowhere, again landing on the table. To the astonishment of all present, the Cardiff poltergeist seemed to demonstrate a level of rudimentary intelligence, alongside a willingness to interact with the living world. During the test, those present requested that the spirit throw specific items, such as a coin or a battery. Amazingly, according to the witnesses, the spirit obliged by throwing exactly what had been requested each time. Fred and John decided to seek assistance. They contacted David Fontana, a university lecturer and expert on metaphysical and paranormal phenomena. According to reports, as soon as David Fontana arrived at Mower Services, the strange activity began. When the investigator walked into the reception area, a small stone was thrown at him from an area of the room that was not occupied. John Matthews' response was to say, "See, it's Pete, and he's saying hello." After several hours observing the phenomena at Mower Services, Fontana went on to write a report which alleged that the premises were home to a poltergeist that was demonstrably intelligent. The article attracted a huge amount of attention nationally, achieving the precise opposite of what the business's owners had wanted. Mower Services became a notorious paranormal location and began attracting tourists. Despite the increased public attention, the poltergeist's activity was undiminished. In fact, it seemed to intensify quite dramatically. Incidents of items being thrown or doors being locked from the inside increased sharply. Then, one day, the spirit took things even further by manifesting in front of Fred. Fred and his brother John had been working on a car when something caught Fred's attention on the top shelf of a unit in the corner of the room. It was a little boy, who he described as being tiny, thin, and gray in complexion. He said the child was huddled in the corner, staring intensely at himself and his brother John. He was apparently dressed in tattered clothing, with a face that was almost featureless. Careful not to scare the spirit away, Fred whispered to his brother to turn around slowly, in the hope that he too would see the ghost. But as John turned, the boy vanished from sight. When asked what he had seen, Fred replied, "It was Pete, our Pete." Seconds later, a large, heavy brick was hurled at Fred, narrowly missing his face. Months passed with the activity continuing on a daily basis, until one day, John and Fred decided that the time had come to move premises. Both brothers thought that the move would be the end of their contact with Pete the poltergeist, but it soon became clear that this wasn't to be the case. When Mower Services moved out, Pete moved in with Fred. Within days, Fred and his wife began witnessing paranormal phenomena throughout their home. The activity closely mirrored the events experienced at Mower Services. In a final attempt to rid himself of his supernatural sidekick, Fred consulted with a medium, who advised him to smash or break any items that the poltergeist moved or interfered with. Sure enough, this method worked and Pete never returned to visit Fred again. The tale of the Cardiff poltergeist at Mower Services is as fascinating as it is chilling. A seemingly intelligent force, affectionately nicknamed Pete, interacted with its environment in inexplicable ways, throwing specific objects on request and leaving witnesses baffled. Despite the eerie encounters, Pete never posed a threat, leaving us to wonder, was Pete truly a spirit, or could it have been a strange form of energy? What do you think about this mysterious phenomenon? Could there be a rational explanation, or does it remain firmly in the realm of the supernatural? Share your thoughts and theories in the comments. We'd love to hear your perspective.